Good morning, friends. I'm excited because I have this little microphone now so you can hear me. Hopefully you can hear me a little better than you could and I don't have to like whisper yell. I don't know. Anyway, today what I want to show you guys is, I'm Sam. If you don't know me, I'm sorry. My name is Sam. I'm here with Harvey Cat Homestead. Someplace. Producing food, ideally. And I am going to be working with this garlic this morning. So it has been out here. I harvested it maybe 3 weeks ago and it's been sitting in, this is an old rabbit cage. I've just had it here just kind of sitting to hold these guys upside down, and they should be cured by now. So what we are going to do is we are going to remove all this root. Not 100% of the root, you want to remove a fair bit of it. And then this dirt, this papery dirt stuff. And okay, so this is a good sign that we're not able to do exactly what I wanted to this morning. This is green, which means it's not completely dry. In order to safely store these, it's got to be completely dry. So what that means is we are going to have to find another place to store our onion harvest, because that's what I want to get to. That's what I have to get to today, because they're past ready. So the deal with onions is whenever they call it neck breaking. I can kind of show you with this garlic. This garlic has a broken neck. It's no longer standing up straight. It's like looped. That means it is ready to harvest, and if you don't harvest it, it will start to decay, and that is the last thing we want. So I'm gonna stick this guy back in here and allow him to continue to process, to continue to dry, and I'll figure out something else for the onions, but they have to get out of the ground. They absolutely have to get out of the ground today. So let's go over to the onion bed and I'll kind of show you what I'm gonna do.
So harvesting onions is exceedingly simple. The bulb actually sits directly on top of the soil. It's not underneath the soil, so you just kind of grab and pull. The bigger thing here, what I'm doing is making sure that each onion that I'm pulling out is actually ready. That's why it's taken me a little bit of time. You don't see me just grabbing and pulling 100% of what is in this bed. I had a little bit of a hard time with this. I planted them too closely and I didn't get them in at the right time. This year we will be changing our practices. So yeah, it's still really quite simple. Just grab and pull either way.
All right, let me show you this. So these, that's nothing. This is a pointless harvest. If this is the only thing that I'm getting is something this size. So what I'm gonna do is the ones that are really, really little, I'm just gonna leave. I'll come back and check on them. Obviously, I'm not here like every day caring for everything anyways. So what I'm gonna do is just leave them and allow them to get a bit bigger. They're kind of sheltered by the corn right now. So maybe they won't, I think because they're shaded and protected just a bit, they will continue to grow. I don't know, we'll see. That's the thing about gardening, is it's a living thing. You have to kind of figure out how to care for it as you go. And that's what we're doing now. So these are yellow onions. These are yellow sweet onions. I've also got red onions in here, and I think I have some white. I'm not exactly sure, honestly. We're gonna find out as we're going. But I'm gonna move to a different side of the bed so that we can reach what's inside of there a little bit better. So this is a better shot of what I mean when I say their necks are broken. They're all flopped over, then just kind of limp, laying here. So we'll go ahead and get these out. These are the ones that are for sure closer to being ready. He's a good bit bigger and he's definitely got a broken neck.
All right, double time it here. I'm really glad I can zoom through this stuff so you guys don't have to sit here and just commiserate with me. It's about 90 degrees as I'm pulling these, so it is very hot. Onions honestly prefer cooler weather. You're gonna get most of your bulbing in cooler weather, which is another reason I'm hesitant about leaving these or pulling them. This is the way of gardening. You don't always know what you're gonna get. Sometimes you just do your best. Actually, you always just do your best. And sometimes your best is not perfect, and that's all right. Next year, we are going to do something very different. I'm actually planning on starting from seed instead of starts. So hopefully I can get our timing right, and next time they'll be better and larger.
All right, I checked the weight of our basket and it's not so full that it can't be managed. So I'm gonna go ahead and just continue to put these other onions on top of them. Onions are really easy to pull. They're very easy to harvest. You literally just pull it right up and everything comes up. This is a nice example of one that absolutely had to get out of there. It was gonna rot if we didn't grab it today. I'm gonna try to organize this basket a little bit better so that half of it's white and half of it's red, or yellow and red. I don't know, in cooking I kind of use white and yellow somewhat interchangeably. Now there are recipes where I'm particular, but not every one. And these ones, yeah, that could have stayed longer. He's not even starting to break his neck. But anyway, I'm gonna pull all of these, because even if they could go a little bit longer, the problem with them is I planted cucumbers on this trellis. You can see them, they're right here. So I want to give them more space. So we're just gonna go ahead and remove 100% of these, even if they are teeny tiny. We'll figure out some kind of fun little dish to make with them. And that's okay. I will probably use them immediately instead of allowing them to dry. But that is just fine. All right, let's get at it. Oh, that's pretty good sized. You can see my cucumbers not on the trellis at all, which is part of why I mean, look, this whole guy, he's got a fruit on him and everything. This is a lot of why I really needed to get out here. The form of gardening that I practice is a bit chaotic. I wouldn't call it exactly chaos gardening 100%, but I do intensive spacing, and that really optimizes the space wow, that one's a good one. He's nice and big. Big for me anyway. Anyway, putting them a little bit closer, it often optimizes your space, but it may not always optimize your harvest, if you understand what I mean. Part of the reason these guys didn't get as big as they could have is because they were too tight. I didn't give them enough room to actually get big. But they do very well in this compost. I'm pretty much growing in straight compost right here. And they come right up and they're very easy. I'm kind of pulling weeds as I go. The last thing I want is to remove these things and then the weeds take over instead of the plants that I'm wanting to grow. This back here, I'm not sure how well you can see it. This is ageratum. This was actually growing in here last year. I did seed this intentionally last year and it came back from seed. So it's just an annual flower. So if it's gonna feed the buggies, we're gonna let it grow. I hope you know when I say buggies, I don't mean just any buggies, I mean pollinators. If we can protect our pollinators, that is absolutely what I want to do. And yes, I absolutely love honeybees. I plan on getting honeybees in the next year, but all the pollinators. I love our little native bees. I love the wasps. I know most people are gonna hear that and say, well, if you love wasps, what's wrong with you? Well, if we started listing what's wrong with me, we would be here for ages. So let's not waste our time. There's still onions to pull. These guys are coming out so easy, and I really appreciate how it's a lot easier to just harvest 100% of the whole thing, because you can just see what you're doing easier, and it seems quicker. I'm not having to think. I'm not having to concern myself with whether or not that's the right one to pull, or is the neck broken for sure. We got some big silver slicer cucumbers over here. We'll go ahead and pull those as we're going too, since a lot of these are gonna have to go inside because of their size. Kind of show you. I'm gonna scoot this box over here. Wow, they are nice and fragrant. I'll tell you that. Nice and fragrant. All right, we're just gonna start pulling. What I'm gonna do at this point, since there's not a ton left in, well, about halfway through this bed, I'm just gonna pull a whole bunch of these and then bring them over to that basket all at one time. I'm excited I'm excited anytime I get to turn a bed, anytime I get to rotate things through and start something new. And I may not start that much new right here because, as I said, these cucumbers need a little more space. But even the cucumbers having more space is a bit new. I just like change, which is, I think, a big part of why I really like gardening, is things are constantly cycling. And I'll show you guys my winter garden and my fall garden. I still garden in those times. I don't know what in the world that is. I mean, obviously it's a large truck, but I don't know why it's honking. Oh, it's a fire truck. Okay. That's kind of unusual. We're in a very rural part of North Carolina. We are in Bennett, which it is 30 minutes for us to get to a grocery store. Our nearest neighbors are cows, and our in-laws are, I'm really grateful that our in-laws are so close, because they're a huge help. They're such good people, but they're a few hundred feet away, basically. So if they need something, or if we need something, they are right there. Oh, that one's rotten. Went to grab him and he just broke. Yeah, that cucumber's trailing all through there. Okay, I'm gonna bring you guys in a bit closer so that you can actually see what just happened with that rotten guy. I'm trying to be mindful of the sunlight being directly in your little eye. All right, this cucumber, he's got to go up this trellis, because doggone, he was all out in the corn and everything. Okay, so let me show you this fella right here. Yeah, this is a good example of my crazy gardening. He's got to go, because he is right up against, let me see, he is right up against, there's weeds in there. This is a mess. Pros and cons of chaos gardening. So, or a high intensity spacing is what I should say. But I'm gonna have to get a tool and get right up under him, because I cannot grab this and pull. Oh, maybe I can. Okay, I just had to grab it from farther back. He's pretty big. Yeah, he's a good sized boy. But he's ready to come out, that's for sure. That's when you know they absolutely need to get out of there. It's when they start coming apart. Gosh, there's cucumber beetles. Beatnik beetles everywhere. And I'm just pouring sweat already, y'all. Pouring sweat. And we'll have to go in and get rehydrated. Always carry a water bottle with you. This is me trying to preach what I practice. For the longest time, I've refused to drink water. And man, did I start feeling better when someone convinced me that I needed to. Felt like a totally different person. Yeah, this corn. This is a good example of my high intensity spacing and its pros and cons. It's tiny, which is fine, because with corn, you really want it close, because the pollination happens a lot better if it's close. I'm tucking these cucumbers back in, trying to tuck this corn into itself. All right. My hands smell very fragrant, very oniony. Smells like I've been cooking. All right, let's get these back in with their buddies. And I gotta figure out where I'm gonna put those now. But man, they're pretty. Got a whole lot of onions. All right, these are onions. And then here is everything else. Ugh. So, as you can tell by my sweat, we harvested quite a lot today. I'm gonna try to get you in a better angle so you can actually see what I'm doing. All right, hopefully that's a little more available to you in terms of what we have sitting on our table. So, giant zucchini I should have gotten to sooner. Squash I should have gotten to sooner. I just made pickles yesterday. Here's another zucchini. This is some of our red jing okra. Got a couple of those. That's a little too long. I'd really prefer to harvest that when it was a little smaller. This heat has had me inside and trying to process the harvest that we already had. We've still got squash. This is the time of year where it is everybody giving away squash. Like, you go to church, you're gonna leave with a bag of squash. Somebody gonna take you some. Y'all already saw our silver slicer cukes. And then these are gherkin cukes. There might be some more okra in there as well. Yeah, this is some of the Texas Hill Country okra. It's nice and short and squatty, but it's thicker around. So I'm excited to see. This one probably went a little bit long, but that's all right. Okay, that's our garden harvest. All of the cucumbers. So you hear some people talk about, well, specifically, I've heard Jess from Roots and Refuge. If you have not checked out her channel on here and you're into homesteading, you've been wasting your time. She's amazing. Anyway, she has this thing where she talks about the burden of abundance. And that's where we're at right now with squash, trying to figure out how we can put it to use and not allow it to go to waste. And then the cucumbers are pretty easy because, you know, we're pickle people. I'm a pickle person. And then we get to figure out what we're going to do with this large box of onions. It's large for me. It's just me and Michael. We don't have kids, so, or at least we don't currently. Just us and the fur babies for now. But this is a lot of food for just two people, and I'm very grateful for that. But what that means is I need to get creative in terms of preservation. I'm pulling this blossom off of the end of the squash because it's stuck and it's kind of moldy and gross. So that's another Jess thing. Real food comes dirty. It absolutely does. So I'm honestly still not sure what I'm gonna do with all these onions. For now, they're gonna sit on my table, which is not ideal because, you know, there's bugs and stuff in there, but I've also currently got a baby bunny in a box on my table, so, you know, this is the homestead way. The outside comes inside, and I think there's beauty in it. I really love it. Obviously, or I wouldn't continue to do it, but I'll have to let you guys know what I decide to do with these. Some people will go and purchase like a hog panel. You need something that's rigid, kind of like the rabbit cage I showed you just a minute ago. You need to be able to sit the bulb with the roots facing up and the greens facing down. And you need air movement. You need airflow all around here. So ideally, wire works well, but it's got to be sturdy enough because this is a fair bit of weight. So I'm gonna have to figure out what to do about that, and I will let you know. Maybe if it may be an if I do. But thank you so much for joining me for my little harvest party today. I appreciate you. I'm glad that you're here. I hope that I'm offering something that you value, that you're enjoying. If not, please let me know what I can do to up your enjoyment factor a bit. If not, if you're just having fun along with the journey, along with me for our journey, that's cool too. Honestly, this is all stuff I would be doing anyway. This is just me bringing you along for my day. So it takes a bit more time because I'm chatting with you, which makes me really happy. It makes me feel like I'm not alone. And I spend a lot of time alone, so I'm really grateful. When I say I appreciate you, I truly do. I'm not just saying that to make you feel something. Like, I'm grateful to feel like I'm not alone. So I hope you don't feel alone today. I hope that you have an absolutely beautiful day, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. All right, goodbye, friends.